Your roadmap to the latest in auto? Welcome to Highway Herald. Buckle up, because the trade tensions between the US and Mexico have just shifted into high gear. President Trump's aggressive tariff policy has sparked a fierce response from Mexico's new president, Claudia Sheinbaum, and the automotive sector is caught in the crossfire. With billions of dollars at stake and supply chains hanging by a thread, both nations are now locked in a high-stakes showdown. Let's break down how this all started, the strategies at play, and the impact on the auto industry. How the US-Mexico trade conflict escalated. This conflict traces back to Trump's 2024 re-election campaign, where he vowed to protect American industries and tackle border issues through harsh tariffs. True to his word, in February 2025, Trump slapped a 25% tariff on Mexican and Canadian imports and a 10% tariff on Chinese goods. His goal? To strengthen domestic manufacturing and pressure Mexico to tighten border security. But Mexico wasn't about to take that lying down. Since over 80% of Mexico's exports are US-bound, the economic fallout was immediate, especially in the automotive sector, which makes up nearly 27% of Mexico's total exports to the US. Automakers raised the alarm, warning that supply chain disruptions could jack up production costs and vehicle prices. Sheinbaum didn't hold back. "We will not accept Trump tariffs," she declared. "If they come, we will respond in kind." That defiant stance earned her strong domestic support. Mexicans viewed Trump's move as a direct attack on their economy, and Sheinbaum's readiness to retaliate struck a chord with the public. The stage was set for a diplomatic battle with far-reaching consequences. That's when Sheinbaum played her next hand, and it was a strategic masterstroke. Sheinbaum's strategic counterpunch. Sheinbaum's handling of the crisis has been nothing short of tactical mastery. On March 9th, she took to Mexico City's Zocalo Square, where tens of thousands of supporters rallied behind her. "Mexico is to be respected," the crowd chanted as Sheinbaum addressed the nation. She announced that Trump had agreed to temporarily suspend the tariffs under the USMCA agreement until April 2nd, a clear diplomatic win. Behind the scenes, Sheinbaum played her cards with precision. After Trump imposed the tariffs on March 4th, citing drug trafficking and immigration concerns, Sheinbaum initially threatened retaliation. But instead of acting impulsively, she opted for a calculated approach. A direct phone call between Sheinbaum and Trump smoothed the tension, at least temporarily. However, Sheinbaum made it clear that Mexico wouldn't back down completely. "We cannot surrender our sovereignty or allow foreign governments to dictate our economic policies," she stated. That message resonated. Her approval rating surged past 60% following the rally. But the automotive sector wasn't out of the woods yet. Next came a brutal reality check for car manufacturers. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore our next chapter. Automakers brace for impact. No industry stands to suffer more from these tariffs than the automotive sector. Modern car production depends on a complex supply chain where parts crisscross North American borders multiple times before final assembly. A 25% tariff threatens to dismantle that entire system. Ford has already warned that tariffs could increase the price of models like the F-150 by up to $12,000. GM and Stellantis are also bracing for higher costs and potential supply chain disruptions. Some manufacturers have started exploring alternative sourcing strategies, including moving production outside of Mexico. Dealerships are feeling the heat too. The looming uncertainty over future tariffs has forced dealers to adjust pricing strategies and delay shipments. Promotional offers have been put on hold as companies wait to see how the situation unfolds. If tariffs remain in place, US automakers could lose ground in global markets, giving Asian and European competitors a significant edge. Mexican manufacturers are facing their own set of challenges. Factories producing key auto components are experiencing production slowdowns as US manufacturers consider shifting sourcing strategies. The highly integrated nature of North American auto production means that any disruption ripples across the entire supply chain. But the fallout wasn't just limited to automakers. It hit the broader economy hard. Economic fallout and market reaction. The tariffs triggered an immediate market meltdown. The Dow Jones plunged over 700 points as automotive and manufacturing stocks took the hardest hit. Investor anxiety surged over rising production costs and potential supply chain disruptions. The Mexican peso tumbled nearly 5% against the US dollar, fueling inflation concerns and weakening consumer spending power in Mexico. Automakers like Ford and GM warned that higher costs could undercut their global competitiveness. Mexico responded swiftly. Sheinbaum's administration proposed expanding trade with South America and Asia to reduce reliance on the U.S. market. The Mexican Foreign Ministry accelerated trade talks with Brazil and China to offset potential losses. Agriculture took a hit too. American farmers in Texas and California, heavily reliant on Mexican exports, faced retaliatory tariffs on corn, soybeans, and avocados. This raised political pressure on Trump's administration to find a solution. Even with the temporary tariff suspension, uncertainty remains. Trump's administration warned that tariffs could return if Mexico fails to meet border security expectations. Sheinbaum, however, stood firm, signaling that Mexico is prepared to respond if necessary. With tensions rising, political leaders on both sides were forced to react. Diplomatic and political repercussions. Sheinbaum's handling of the tariff conflict has boosted her domestic standing. By March 2025, her approval rating soared past 80%, making her one of Mexico's most popular leaders. Her strong but diplomatic response was seen as a defense of Mexican sovereignty, reinforcing her political capital at home. In the U.S., reactions were more divided. Trump's base, particularly hardline immigration supporters, expressed frustration over the tariff suspension, seeing it as a political retreat. Conservative commentators questioned Trump's commitment to his campaign promises, while business leaders welcomed the temporary truce to avoid deeper economic fallout. Internationally, the conflict raised alarms over North American trade stability. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney called for renewed USMCA talks, warning that ongoing supply chain disruptions could destabilize the entire North American market. Sheinbaum seized the moment to strengthen Mexico's global standing. Her administration accelerated talks with China, Japan, and the EU to reduce reliance on the U.S. market. Strengthening ties with Brazil and Argentina became a strategic priority, signaling a shift toward greater economic independence. Despite her diplomatic win, tensions remain. White House officials warned that tariffs could return at any moment if Mexico didn't meet specific immigration and trade requirements. Sheinbaum's response was blunt. Mexico will not be intimidated. The big question now, can the U.S. and Mexico avoid a full-blown trade war? The verdict: can Mexico and the U.S. avoid a trade war? The temporary suspension of tariffs offers only a fragile peace. Underlying tensions over border security, immigration, and trade imbalances remain unresolved. Sheinbaum's strategic moves have elevated Mexico's standing on the global stage, but Trump's political base continues to pressure her to take a hardline stance. The automotive industry remains in the crosshairs. If supply chain disruptions persist, the long-term impact on vehicle prices and production costs could cripple North American competitiveness. Automakers have warned that prolonged tariffs could lead to factory closures and job losses in both countries. Politically, the stakes are equally high. Trump faces pressure to deliver on his campaign promises, while Sheinbaum's popularity hinges on defending Mexican economic sovereignty. Both leaders have tied their political credibility to the outcome of this trade conflict, making future escalation a very real possibility. So what happens next? Can Mexico and the U.S. find common ground and avoid a full-scale trade war? Or is this just the calm before the storm? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. How do you think this will play out? And don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald for the latest updates on this unfolding drama. Thanks for watching and see you next time.